Hey, this is Bryce Johnson from Expedition Bigfoot. You're listening to the Paranomaly Zone.
Look, I know the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen. It does happen.
A ghostly apparition in the dark of night.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Hey there, fellow zoners and paranormal ponderers. We have a great one lined up for you today. We had the honor and privilege of speaking with the stars of the hit paranormal program Destination Fear. That's right, we chatted with paranormal explorers Dakota and Chelsea Layden, Tanner Wiseman, and Alex Schroeder as they talked to us about their darkest and most terrifying road trip yet in an all-new season of Destination Fear, premiering Friday, November 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Travel Channel and streaming the same day on Discovery Plus. The fear-chasing foursome embrace the darkness more than ever before, physically, emotionally, and psychologically, as they push the boundaries of fear and daringly spend the night inside America's most sinister and haunted locations. I tell you, I'm glad they're doing that and not Mike and myself. We barely survived the Sally House. I'm kidding, of course. Thank you so much again to Dakota, Chelsea, Tanner, and Alex for being so gracious, so kind, and so fun as we talk all things paranormal, and they provide a little glimpse into what to expect in Season 4 of Destination Fear. Thank you again to all of you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy. Check it out. Well, hello, Dakota. Hello, Alex. Hello, Chelsea. Hello, Tanner. It is an honor to be talking to you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, no problem, no problem. Yeah, we saw you guys. We saw you in person, I'd say a year and a half ago at Para-Unity up in Duluth, Minnesota. Didn't get a chance to come say hi, but we...
we saw you from a distance because every time it's like, let's go check it out. It's like, no, too many people.
It was packed.
You guys were busy.
Do you guys
Very
enjoy?
popular.
Do you guys enjoy going to Paracons and Para-Unity? Is that stuff that you look forward to doing?
Oh, it's a blast! Like getting to meet the fans and actually interact with the people that support us. It's always fun.
Mm. Well, that was great for us.
I think they're a blast. It kind of motivates us. Honestly, every time we do a convention, it just makes us want to keep working harder for the show. But what we don't like is when the conventions don't pay us, because that's not cool.
No,
no kidding. Oh my Lord!
Not fair at all.
Nope. I hope that hasn't happened too often, but I'm glad you guys enjoy it. Well, as the name of this podcast would attest, the podcast is Paranomaly Zone. We focus on all things paranormal. We've had just the honor and privilege of talking with so many awesome guests in the paranormal field, and now we are just extra honored, extra privileged to be talking to you guys. Where do we want to start? I guess the first thing I wanted to ask you about, considering that our listeners are more than likely aware of who you are and your highly successful show, in case there is one or two persons out there who may not be aware, can you talk to us a little bit about the origins of Destination Fear and how we all got here today?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone can touch on it, but we all grew up together, next door neighbors, best friends. Chelsea's my sister, and this isn't a forced group. This wasn't we weren't all friends. We were all best friends before the show, and that was just one of our hobbies growing up, was chasing fear, going to abandoned buildings and urban exploring, and talking about it for the next 2 weeks about how scared we were. And that fear and that adrenaline and those experiences growing up kind of definitely led to this. Eventually this made the most sense. Let's do a road trip. This got created.
Safe to say though that when we started the whole exploring together, it was much different than what it turned into. We used to all basically pick a haunted hotspot in Minnesota. It could have been somewhere that might have just been abandoned, maybe not even notoriously haunted. And we'd go there and we'd all go in as a group, and we would basically stay until we got scared out. And then we'd end up running back to the car 90% of the time. And now we're doing similar but very different, where we're actually spending the night at these locations, sometimes without even a flashlight. So things have definitely enhanced over the years, I'd have to say.
Yeah, some of the first times we've gone like to back in high school when we go to abandoned places, we'd spend like 3 or 4 hours driving to that place and then spend just an hour in there and get scared out. 3 hour, 4 hour drive back home.
Still worth it though.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know, I have to point this out to our listeners in case they are not aware. Hey, fellow Minnesotans, I mean, you're
That's
looking
right.
at one right here, Mike. I don't count.
I'm a Nodak.
He's a
but,
Nodak.
you know, I do the best I can.
Hey, man.
I don't
I went
count.
So.
But I did live in Minnesota for, well, a number of years and loved every minute of it.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
Minnesota.
Heck yeah.
Now, would you guys say that you have an addiction to fear? Is that such a thing? Does it just give you that adrenaline rush that you can't top?
Yeah, I've been going things for it.
Oh, absolutely.
I know we've said this before, but like when people watch scary movies, there's like this kind of like this fear factor in watching scary movies where like during it, you're like, no, don't open the door, don't go down the road, or don't go down the staircase. And you're watching it and it's almost like terrible. And then you finish the movie and like a couple days later, you want to watch another scary movie. It's kind of on a similar line of what we do and what we experience and how we end up eventually wanting to go back on the road and get scared again.
Yeah. Well, you all handle that fear very well, but I love watching you jump and scream though. That's a lot of fun, not at your expense. I mean, I don't mean that, but you're all just so awesome, you know, watching go through all this stuff and, you know, laying there in that dusty, dirty darkness. I mean, that's gotta be just kind of overwhelming at times, I'm sure.
Oh, totally. Times where, you know, you have your mask on and you're like just trying to like get situated in the room, and then all of a sudden something happens and you're yelling. Well, especially for me because I wear glasses, so like I'll like be yelling for help, and then all of a sudden it just fog right up and I can't see anything. Now I'm doing that.
Yeah.
There's definitely some moments when you're by yourself. You're just like, oh man, I just don't feel comfortable here.
Yeah, and then everything you hear is going to be like enhanced, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
and every intro to the episodes, Chelsea, I just wait for that part where you're in like the night vision and you're just freaking out and then you scream. I love that. It's so awesome.
That's when you know I'm scared. When
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, you were definitely genuine too. Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason Mike likes that is because it reminds him of him. Because that's how he reacts.
There you go.
That's
There
how
you
he
go.
reacts to everything in life.
I think I've dealt with my specters pretty well.
Hey, you know what? That's a great transition. Thank you for bringing that up, Mike. Do you believe in your experiences and your knowledge of all things paranormal? Do you believe that some people are more prone to experience something paranormal, for lack of a better term, or do you think some people maybe are not as prone because they're too logical, so to speak, or so they're trying to block things out and they don't even realize it? Because Mike, my good buddy and podcast co-host here, he has literally lived a haunted life. I mean, he's one of those guys that just experiences stuff ever since he was young. Do you believe that some people are more prone to that than others?
Yeah, you call me the paranormal poster boy, the co-host with the ghosts. Yeah. But yeah, that's okay.
I personally believe that. Yeah, I believe like when you go to a haunted place, you have to be extremely open-minded. You can't be trying to shoot everything down right away. It's healthy to do that at a certain point to try to get to the bottom of it. But I know people, and I've seen people who have done that where they go in knowing they don't want to find this. They don't want to believe it. And so like, you're not going to leave with an experience if the whole time you're blocking it out. You got tunnel vision. So you have to be open-minded for sure. But I think anyone can experience paranormal.
Totally. And we always compare it like one of our great comparisons is it's like fishing. Like you know, you can't just cast it into the lake once and then get a fish or expect to get a fish. Like, you have to like take your time with it, go into these places, really allow yourself to like get into a mode where you could have something happen to you. And it takes a very, very long time. That's why when we do these overnights, we're in there from when the sun goes down to the sun comes up. And like, there's a lot of times where we're just walking around and nothing's happening and it's super quiet. All of a sudden something finally happens and it freaks us out because it's been for so long that nothing has happened. And that's kind of like one of those things where a lot of people go in there, expect something to just be crazy right away. It doesn't happen. So then they leave.
Yeah. You know, that
even when you go
ahead.
when you go fishing, like I've been fishing on some of the best lakes in Canada. And if you're in the wrong spot, like it's not going to happen. Like you have to be in the right place, the right time. That's why we go in there for all those hours. That's why we separate and go alone. That's 4 people in 4 different areas. It's definitely not like, if you were to watch our raw footage, you'd be extremely bored because what you're seeing in the show is a highlight reel.
And sometimes you think it's a fish and it's just weeds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's always going to happen.
Sometimes you get a snag.
Yeah, just a little snag. Yeah.
That too.
So, talk to us a little bit about how. Again, I'm kind of going back to the origins of Destination Fear, but looking up at some the history here. Dakota, the Travel Channel describes you as being, and you are as a documentary filmmaker. You got into posting videos on YouTube, creating your own videos, and eventually your videos caught the eye of, I don't know, some guy named Zach Bagans, and then you're off to the races. What was that like first having Zach Bagans kind of reach out to you and say like, hey, I like what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, me, Alex, and Tanner, and Chelsea even, like, we used to do these videos, comedy videos all the time. And we got to a point with our YouTube channel where we were doing 1 a week. And one day, me and Tanner were watching Ghost Adventures, and we watched like a full day just binging it. And obviously, like you do when you watch Ghost Adventures, there are moments where you like kind of crack fun at it or some of the characters. And so like we had all these ideas and jokes about it. And then finally we're like, let's just do it, man. Let's do a video. Like, the big concern though is they were in their 3rd season. So we were like, because when you do a video of a spoof of someone, it's like you spoof like the viral thing at the time. Mm-hmm. So we were like, is anyone even going to understand this? Does anyone watch this other than us? Like, we don't know, but not our fans at the time. Mm-hmm. And so we posted it, and then to see the Ghost Adventures crew like tweet us back and follow us and message us and start DMing us, it was really cool for us because we were worried a little bit if we were like crossing the line because it is a spoof. Like, it's like, how are they going to take it? So for the most part, they took it great. There was a couple jokes in there I don't know if were taken so well, but it was pretty crazy.
Can you share those jokes? I'm kidding. You don't have to do that. Now, this is... sorry, go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, it was a crazy story though, because even after the spoofs, we went through many more years of filmmaking, and I went on and worked on sets for 2 years in Atlanta and Pittsburgh, and I was a production assistant, and like they kept in touch with me, and it was just like by chance one day they needed help on one of their shoots, and I know cameras and stuff, and they hired me on to do one, and after that one, they were like, hey, do you want to be full time? And then I did it with them for over 2 years.
It's not like you had to probably think about that for too long.
At the moment, no.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Now, we're heading into season 4 of Destination Fear here. This is premiering Friday, November 25th, 2022. We're super excited for that. What can we expect from you guys? What can we expect? What's upcoming from season 4 and Destination Fear? I really want to, tease us a little bit here, even more so.
I mean, I'll pass it to you guys. I feel like you guys should definitely each talk about your locations you picked because they are special and terrifying. But I'll start really quick. For me, the big thing this season is we embraced the dark. I made us embrace the darkness more than ever. We, not just with hauntings, not just like the locations, but when I say darkness, I mean no light. And so this season, every time we slept alone or did any sort of a solo, anytime you were not with the group, you weren't allowed a flashlight. So we were in the pitch dark more than ever before.
I don't know. I don't know if I could be a member of this show. I'm just saying that. Alex, talk to us about what we can expect. Destination Fear, season 4.
Well, this season, I had the privilege to bring everyone back to the last location left on the Trail to Terror list. There was one location, Ashmore Estates, that we have not revisited in the past seasons of Destination Fear. And being as how I was not a part of Trail to Terror in the filming aspect, it was really cool for me to get to bring them to a place where I've heard so many stories. I've heard every single one of them say, I don't want to go back to that one. That's the one place I don't want to step foot in again. And it felt right for me to like have to throw them into the fire. And not only did we go back as a group, because the first time they experienced it, those 3 together, I sent them in one by one, completely alone, no flashlight, nothing, just them and a camera and some equipment.
Yeah, so that was evil.
Yeah.
And we got stormed on that night. A huge storm.
Oh my goodness.
Biggest one of the trip. At one point, I was actually in the building alone doing my solo finally. I was the last one to go, and it started downpouring, thundering, lightning. And all of a sudden, I just hear this big crash, and everyone's inside the building now. It scared me because I was not expecting it. But yeah, they ran in to get away from the rain, obviously. But yeah, that was a very cool moment for me to kind of, in a way, be a part of Trail to Terror, even though I wasn't in the film.
And you got to experience stuff we did, like the stuff that we experienced all those years ago. You personally got to see now firsthand, and that was cool. Like we actually had stuff happen that correlated.
Yeah, exactly.
Tanner, throwing it to you.
All right, yeah. So the cool thing about this season is there's 4 locations in our 8 episodes that have never been on TV before, and that's kind of one of those ones where I really like trying to go towards is like something that no one's seen before, introduce a new location, a new building, a new story that hasn't been told. And for me, I got to take everyone to the old Harriman Hospital. And when I was doing my research for it, I was looking at it, I'm like, man, like it doesn't, I don't know if it's like that big. Man, I don't know. And then when we finally got there, I looked at it and I was like, oh, this place is massive. Like it is 9 floors tall, 8 floors tall. It's just winding hallways all over the place, a sub basement. It just went on for forever. And my favorite part about it was it looked like it got closed down yesterday. I mean, it was super clean. It had documents still there. It had equipment, gurneys, chairs. I mean, it looked like we had a hospital to ourselves that was still active. And then when we went in there, like we just had so many different things that was just like bizarre, unique to that location that scared the crap out of us. And there's definitely a lot of screaming in that one.
Perfect. Oh man, Chelsea, how about you?
So mine's kind of opposite because I took the guys to a very famous location, the Winchester Mystery House in California. And it's definitely a bucket list location. I think for all of us, it's like somewhere we all wanted to go to at some point. When I found out we could get access to it, which was like half the battle, it's like so famous that I didn't even know we'd be allowed to stay overnight there by ourselves. I was so fascinated by the story behind it and how the house was built. It looks like a giant mansion. So just the aesthetics were so appealing, but just the story behind Sarah Winchester and how essentially she was haunted, like, or tormented or both. Just thinking that the spirits that basically fell to the Winchester rifle were haunting her. And she actually built the mansion inspired by the spirits in the house and to deter the bad spirits in the house. So the floor plan, the blueprint is just ridiculous and it doesn't make any sense. There's stairways that lead to nowhere, like actually just a roof. There are doors that you open and it's just like a drop. I think Dakota almost actually fell down one. It's crazy. It's so interesting. And if anyone has the opportunity to visit and even take a tour. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, with Chelsea brings us to this place, and then she, all right, so we're all going to split up. You're going to go find your room. You're going here, you're going here, and I'm going here. Go. And we're like,
And no flashlights either.
No
no
flashlight.
flashlight. It was dark, so dark. And
Oh,
like,
man.
it's not a big spoiler, but I want to say it took me a good like 5 hours to find where I'm supposed to be going. It's just a lot. There's so many times where like all of a sudden I'm like, I walk into Dakota's room. I'm like, oh crap, sorry about that. And then I'll walk into Chelsea's room for like the third time in a row. I'm like, sorry. Maybe it's funny. I don't know what to do here.
I would have just sat down and said, just whatever.
Screw
It
it.
kind of felt like a fun house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
The
sure.
stairs and like tight turns, and it just got really
Yeah.
weird.
I have to say, yours is probably like a lot of the episodes are like terrifying, dark. Like yours is probably going to be a fan favorite because it's so entertaining. Like, because we've done solos before where one person goes in at a time, but Chelsea this night for the first time ever did a group solo. So like we all started in the same room, but then, it's pitch dark, and then she gives us, go find this, go find this, go find this, go. So it was like a group solo. We all went our own ways. And I mean, yeah, like Tanner took the longest to find his spot, but I think everyone was at least like an hour to 2 hours. But Tanner, it was like 4.5 to 5.5. It was a long time.
Yeah.
It's
Go
pretty
find-
dangerous too.
Yeah, Chelsea almost died. Chelsea
So-
literally almost died.
Also outside, I was told go find the tapestry room, and I go, I don't even know what that means. So like, I walk around, see what tapestry I find.
At least you
If you,
tell you to go find the basement.
yeah, true.
Yours
Like,
is so-
that's what I did to you, Chelsea, but I'm picking next location, so
There you go.
Yeah, Alex, this was a scary one for you in the basement.
yeah. I don't think I've ever as loud as I did
Really?
at the Mystery House
Oh, man.
ever.
If anyone wants to see Chelsea fall down a flight of stairs, tune into the Winchester Mystery
There you
House.
go.
You gotta be
I
careful.
lost all my depth perception.
There you go.
Oh, jeez.
like a Wiley, where all of a sudden she's just walking, and all of a sudden just.
Boom.
Okay, but now I can explain it. So
Please
yes, this is the time for me to explain why it happened. One,
What happened?
I took away the flashlights. It's my fault. Two, my camera was too zoomed in. I thought it was zoomed all the way out, but it was a little bit zoomed in. So I was looking at the wrong set of stairs. So I thought I was on the bottom,
Oh, no.
but I had like at least 5 or 6
Oh,
more to
no.
go.
Oh, my
Lucky
gosh.
you didn't hurt yourself.
I can see the tagline now that Travel Channel refuses to use. Tune in, season 4. Chelsea almost dies. I don't know. Yo, I know. Again, we're on a limited time here, and this stuff just flies by so fast. A question that we like to ask several of our guests, if we get a time, what do you guys? And not to kind of sound negative about it, but what do you guys think about people who view the paranormal, all paranormal programming, or ghosts in general? They just kind of look at it through a pseudo-skeptic's kind of point of view. They don't even, that's a phrase that Mike and I love using, pseudo-skeptics. They don't even take a moment to think about it being a possibility. They just automatically dismiss it. Does that ever get to a point where it frustrates you, or do you just kind of, it doesn't even bother you at one bit?
I think there's
Yeah,
always
I mean,
people out there that are skeptical, especially when it's something that's on like a nationwide platform. But what we always say is, go to these places, spend the entire night. Like, we go to these places for 10 to 14 hours straight. And like Dakota said, it's a highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe in it, like, get a group of friends, go road trip, go to these haunted places and find out for yourself.
Right. Amen. Nope, I agree with you 190% on that one. I have to... Go ahead, Dakota.
I was gonna say, I don't think it like bothers us though. Like we've had people tell us the same thing about our show, and it's like you can't blame them. Even like with UFOs and stuff, it's like you're not gonna really probably believe it till you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's it's actually a compliment when people who don't believe watch our show and they're like, you know what? We might not believe, but it's entertaining. We'd love to see you guys get scared. It's like, we're like, well, as long as we're providing, something you can watch, then, we're happy. We just want, people to enjoy the experience and things like that.
Sure.
It's definitely a lot of entertainment and well worth watching. And like I said, I cannot wait for this new season to kick in and go from there.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
Yep. We'll
We
be
can't
watching.
either. We're so excited.
I know.
Same.
That's awesome. Well, again, we can't thank you guys enough for joining us. We know you're on a tight schedule today. Dakota, Alex, Tanner, Chelsea, feel free to plug anything you want. Where can people find you on social media? One last final hype for Destination Fear. Fire away, Dakota.
Honestly, the best way is go to @Destination Fear on Twitter or Instagram, and from there you can find all of our personal pages. And then a shameless plug: we did just release our new Fear gear, which we're wearing some of it.
Awesome!
And if you go to www.feargear.shop, you can buy it, and a lot of it is jokes with the show. Like I'm wearing the Rockstar shirt. Schrader's got the Whip It Out Ovilus shirt.
Me and Dakota.
Oh, that's
Lots of
sweet.
cool stuff. We
And this
actually
one
took
goes in the
the
dark.
It
that one
does.
goes in the dark. And like we've done rubber duck stuff our whole life, so we got a new logo now that's a skeletonized rubber duck.
Oh, cool.
So go check it out.
Oh, absolutely. Mike, can you borrow me some money? Just for now. No.
Well,
I'm trying to get him on. I'm trying to catch him on air here, but no, he doesn't bite. He doesn't bite.
no, we could get some of that gear and use it for our next Sally House trip.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
talk about a shameless plug. Very very quickly. Mike and I just this last weekend spent an overnight at the Sally House, and that was
Ooh.
quite an
It was
experience.
interesting.
That was quite the
All right.
experience. Very memorable.
Wow.
That-
That's a lot.
Think about that place.
Yeah, it was. Man, it was crazy. Some weird things happened. It was really interesting, and I slept on the floor, and Mike said I looked pathetic. So that was
Yeah. He was kind enough to let me have the very comfortable couch because of my back.
yeah. So
So it was good.
it was all good.
But yeah, a lot of fun though. A lot of fun.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Dakota, Alex, Tanner, and Chelsea. This has been an absolute honor, absolute blast. We followed you everywhere on social media. We'll keep in touch. Thank you, guys. Best of luck on season 4.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much again.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you
for having
guys.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
big
love to
fan
come
and
back.
always will be. Thanks for everything you're
Aw.
doing.